What's up, guys? Hey, are you seeing some headlines around the increasing number of mortgage delinquencies and it's getting a little concerning? I completely hear you. We've been there before. I just wanted to share an explanation on a couple of things that I've been seeing. First of all, let me start with this chart, which was released by the Resi Group from a guy I follow on LinkedIn. And as we can see over this shoulder, this gigantic peak here, this is the number of delinquencies back during the last mortgage crisis, 2007, 8, 9. And when you look over this shoulder, this is present day. We can see that it is barely a fraction of what it was during the height of the last crisis. And what we can see also is when you look at these different colors, largely the increase that's being pushed up is being driven by this red section at the bottom. That red section represents the number of delinquencies that were reported among FHA mortgages in the second quarter of 2025. And I can also tell you that the significant percentage of those delinquencies were in the southeast part of the country, which are areas that saw two things that are very important that I think are contributing to this. Number one, we're seeing an area where we actually are seeing home price depreciation, right? It's a different market today than it was a couple years ago. The supply-demand imbalance is much different landscape. The demand being affected heavily by the mortgage interest rate environment. You've heard me talk about that before. And then the second thing is rising costs. Really, really concerning in a lot of parts of the country, but particularly Florida. Homeowners insurance has gone through the roof. Taxes in many cases have also increased pretty dramatically in the state. And so that's impacting homeowners' overall expenses and costs and creating distress and creating a compromised situation, which is triggering some delinquencies. The other lesson that I wanted to kind of share is if you are in a position where you are seeing home price depreciation and you are thinking back to what it was like in 2007 and 8, and you saw a lot of people that just kind of turned a corner and walked away, my advice is don't do that, right? I'm a perfect example, and not the only one. There are millions around the country, right? Back in 2005 and 6, I owned a lot of real estate and I thought I was really wealthy, right? Like lots and lots of equity. And then by 2008, 9, 10, I was completely broke. When I looked at the number of homes, like the total value of the real estate as compared to the mortgage obligation, it was upside down in many of those cases. And so that was really concerning. In that case, I didn't walk away. My partner and I, we kept steady with the long-term plan. Kept rental properties rented, paid down mortgages, right, amortized loans, and then ultimately over the next 5, 6, 7 years, we found that intersection where mortgage interest, we paid down mortgage balances, and at the same time, values started to return and grow back into an equity position, and then years later found ourselves in a big equity position again. So that's kind of the lesson. If you're sitting in a position right now and you're just concerned about what to do and what the future is going to hold, my advice is hold steady. Right, the long-term benefit of owning real estate doesn't evaporate because we're going through a little bit of a cycle right now. That is the combination of a drastically changing supply-demand imbalance. Hold steady and hold tight. You're going to be incredibly glad you did 3 to 5 years from now when we start to see the market balance out. We see probably a different mortgage interest rate environment. We see a little bit of a different supply-demand balance, and we start to see values continue to grow. That's the long-term growth. That's the long-term benefit. Don't vie away from it. Stay true, stay steady. At the same time, if a homeowner, if you know someone, or if you're in a position where you are you're compromised in terms of expenses, and your expenses are going up and you need help, get help. Reach out to us, reach out to a lender or other advocate that you trust and know that can offer some guidance and support to get you through what is a period and look at your options to get out of this situation with your in a prideful and positive economic state, so you can get on to the next stage of your life and continue to grow. Any questions, feel free to reach out. But again, this is just we don't want to get carried away in the idea that this is another foreclosure crisis. It couldn't be further from the truth. Know your options, know your choices, and most importantly, keep your eye on recognizing that the long-term benefit of owning real estate has not changed one bit. All right, have a powerful afternoon. Hope to see you soon.